Welcome everyone to this Benzinga interview. Today I'm joined by Tan Tran, the CEO of Vemanti, and Warren Burke, Director of Business Development for Vemanti. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
We're doing good. Thank you so much, Michael, for giving us the opportunity to talk about VMNT.
Absolutely, guys. Great to have you both here. Really excited to discuss a couple of things that are really exciting about what you're working on. And I'd like to start off with a basic overview of the Vemanti Group. Tan, can you take us through what exactly the Vemanti Group does?
VMNT is an emerging fintech company. As an organization, everything we do is about advancing financial inclusion. We are focused on delivering products and services to the underbanked and underserved consumers and small businesses of the world, with a strong focus on the emerging markets of Southeast Asia. As a public company, one of our goals is to promote the benefits of fintech innovation like blockchain through transparency and trust in our existing regulatory framework.
Wonderful. Great start for us, Tan. Now, I'd like to direct this next one to you, and then Warren, I'd love it if you could chime in on this and kind of tail this off as well. But what can you tell us about the Stablecoin project mentioned in your latest press release?
Well, as we set out to build an exclusive financial ecosystem, Michael, having a borderless and permissionless monetary medium in place is one of the key components. Our USDV stablecoin will serve as basic building block from which transactions can take place and applications can be developed, especially in digital payments and lending. And by doing it, our regulation, we're also addressing trust issues associated with other stablecoins right now in circulation. By being trustless, meaning users don't have to trust us, we believe we are well positioned for high volume user adoption. But Warren is the lead on this project and has done a great job, and I'll let him talk more about that here.
Hi. So as Tam mentioned before, the main focus is really supporting these unbanked and underbanked people around the world, places like Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. It's very difficult for these people to get onboarded into a global financial system. We're not dealing with domestic economies anymore. The world's a very small place. So what we're hoping to achieve by launching USDV and a basket of different other fiat-backed stablecoins is essentially frictionless money. Alongside this, we have as Tam mentioned, like a borderless account that's all FDIC insured and supported by US regulation. There's never been a greater time. There's never been as big as a wealth transfer as we're seeing with a lot of these blockchain and decentralized finance products. So what we're hoping now is to join this P2P decentralized finance ecosystem with a number of projects that begins with USDV.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. And as we kind of discuss this a little bit further, obviously serving the underbanked is a big part of this, but what other problem or problems does Vemanti look to solve with this project that hasn't been addressed in the market thus far? Tan, I'd love you to kind of take this one away, and Warren, then again, if you could chime in, that'd be great.
Yeah, again, Michael, it's not about us addressing a problem that hasn't been addressed already by other people. The question here is who are we doing this for, right? You see, here in the US and other established economies, we're basically overbanked and simply inundated with bank promotions and services, which is good, but that's only 1.5 billion of us. The same cannot be said for the other 6 billion people on this planet. Outside the US, not everybody is properly banked. And without access to sufficient banking services, you simply cannot sign up to products from the like of PayPal, Venmo, and other platforms. It's a big problem, and if you have ever tried to conduct a cross-border transaction to someone outside the US who's underbanked, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But at the same time, it's a huge revenue opportunity for us while making an impact. Of course, there are solutions in place already, but they're mostly cumbersome and very expensive, and we want to change all that with USDV. I'll let Warren add more to it, as he has experienced that himself.
Thanks. As Tan mentioned, it's not really about solving an unsolvable problem. It's about making frictionless payments. As people travel around the world or do business more globally, it becomes increasingly difficult. We're not just talking about OFAC restrictions, but simply sending a wire transfer abroad. People are waiting T+3, sometimes T+5 days. What Vemanti hopes to achieve with this is make these payments much more streamlined globally. Anyone around the world, 150 plus different currencies, can open an account with us. They can store it, they can have a crypto on-ramp, they can make payments 10 times more easier. It's more applicable for people to go to 5 or 6 different products, but we hope to achieve by using one USDV, it should make things much more streamlined for everyone.
Wonderful. And then Tan, and then again, Warren, I'd like you guys to kind of address this question in that order too. But obviously, this almost seems self-evident, but I'd like to get a little bit more detail about Vemanti's ideal partner base. Can you tell us a little bit more about who the ideal client and then partner is?
Sure. Ultimately, and along with partners, what we want to do is to build an ecosystem made up of better, faster, cheaper, and easier financial products and services for roughly 2 billion underbanked adults and 200,000 SMEs. So we want to partner up with ESG-focused and impact-driven projects and with people who are actually passionate about changing the status quo and all about solving real problems for the 99%, not about building something cool for the 1% or for the tech-savvy crowd. Strategically, we want to work with tech-driven but human-led solutions that solve immediate economic pain points with a vision to democratize financial services for the masses.
As Tan mentioned, it's not really about focusing on the 1%, it's really about focusing on everyone else around the world. There isn't really one demographic of people that we're targeting. A farmer from Argentina is able to make a payment directly to a textile factory in Bangladesh. Or, we're not just talking about agriculture, but freelancers in Africa are able to accept payments much more easily from a company in the US, for example. So there's really a very wide range of people that could benefit from a system like USDB and Vemanti's kind of ecosystem. Myself, being a somewhat digital nomad traveling around Southeast Asia, it's extremely difficult for me. I don't really want to carry cash because of capital constraints between different countries. It's very difficult for me to have a borderless account, for example. So using a solution like USDB would make my individual life 10 times more easier. And I can see firsthand hundreds and thousands of digital nomads around Southeast Asia, small businesses, even large cap, payment factoring, trade invoices. There's so much applicable use cases for a solution like USDB, and for some reason it just hasn't been done before.
Well, terrific. Well, definitely a problem to address, and certainly a lot of potential there. Tan, I'd like to run this one through you specifically. What are some things that Vemanti Group has done, and what are some of the greatest accomplishments and successes throughout 2021 thus far? What are you most proud of, and what are you really excited to see?
That's a great question. Thanks for that question, Michael. Well, due to our unique business model and our plans in the fintech and blockchain space, at the beginning of the year, we basically set out to accomplish two goals, right? Two major goals. The first is to become an SEC full reporting company to bring a greater level of comfort to our investors and business partners. As you can see, we accomplished that. Compared to where we were a year ago, we're now on a different level. And having gone through the process, I think it's important for investors to understand that unless a company is SEC reporting and PCAOB audited, everything should be taken with a grain of salt. For VMT, being regulated with transparency will help to differentiate us from other competitors in the blockchain space. And the second objective for us for 2021 is to establish a core product and a foundation on which we can launch different fintech applications with unique features to support multiple monetization and revenue streams later on. With the recent pilot launch of our USDB stablecoin, we are slowly reaching that milestone. So in the coming weeks, you can expect to hear more about our developments. Overall, we're very excited about what we are as a company and what we have achieved during the first 2 quarters of 2021. And we look forward to reaching more milestones in Q2 and Q3. I mean, Q3 and Q4. Given the limited resources that we have and the fact that we're still debt-free, I think our team has done a tremendous job.
Wonderful. So much progress clearly this year, and actually a great segue into how we're kind of going to wrap up this interview. And again, I'd like to address this to Tan, and then Warren, if you could chime in to take us away, that'd be great. But speaking to Q3 and Q4 and the rest of this year and moving forward, what's next on the horizon for Vemanti Group? What are you most excited about, and what can we expect to see from you guys in the next couple of quarters and beyond?
Well, overall, as an organization, we're still aiming to get uplisted to NASDAQ in the second half of 2022. So for the rest of 2021, we'll be focusing on making USDB available to the general public with features designed to enhance user experience in order to accelerate mass adoption. On top of that, we'll look to build strategic partnerships for our ecosystem. The goal is by early 2022 will have a strong foundation to support different revenue streams. And I'll let Warren talk a bit more about the basic roadmap for USDV, such as getting it listed on different exchanges and working with different DeFi partners.
So the first things that you're going to notice with USDV is we're going to be making it more accessible to people. So you can expect to see it on various decentralized exchanges. We've already been speaking to centralized exchanges, some large partners, some small cap, in various different regions. And then we're also been discussing various partnerships with different DeFi partners, different staking partners that allow us to distribute rewards much more easily. And then we're talking about getting onboarded with various different cold wallets and hard wallets. This makes it more safe for people to store USDV long term, 12 months, 6 months longer or whatever. So the next few stages that you're going to see is some various partnership announcements, more accessibility, and then we're going to be focusing on the platform itself to make it much more streamlined and get the onboarding process down. So anyone from South America to Africa to North America is going to have a very easy access to the platform.
Fantastic. A lot of progress so far this year, and clearly many more great things to come throughout the year and beyond. Really looking forward to the future conversations here. We've got a long ways to go with Vemanti. Can't wait to unravel more of the developments you have had and things that are going to come up in the future. Tan Tran, CEO of the Vemanti Group, and Warren Burke, Director of Business Development. Thank you so much to both of you for joining us.
Thank you, Michael. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.